Hey guys, welcome back to Chapter 1 and Beyond, and this is Christina, your host, and I am really excited about this bonus episode because I have officially planned out every single book that I need to fulfill this HRCYED 2.0 challenge, and I'm a little scared. So let's just dive right into it. So if you haven't seen any of or heard any of my previous episodes on the hardest reading challenge you'll ever do 2.0, you'll know that I started this like in late July of this year, which is 2025, and I thought I had it down to a science. I did some of the prompts through ChatGPT, and it helped a lot. And ChatGPT still was a benefit, but I realized that some of the recommendations, it just didn't really fulfill like what I typically read and what I could like drag myself through. So I went through every single prompt, which the point of this challenge is to black out the bingo board. So if you haven't heard of HRCYED 2.0, I highly recommend, and I will put a link in the description below with the HRCYED website. It was created by Cordy, which is Stephanie's YouTube channel, and this is a pretty crazy reading challenge. I'm looking at a grand total of 123 books to fulfill every single prompt on this board. And let me remind you that if you have been around since the beginning of this podcast creation, I don't read that like very quickly, and I've been having to really embrace like audiobooks because I just don't have the time to sit down and physically read a book. I am constantly running with my kids and constantly working, and things have just been absolutely crazy with even just organizing my Girl Scout troop for Girl Scouts and everything. So I thrive off of audiobooks, and I think that is the only way that I'm going to get to the end of this challenge, because 80 books in 9 months is really daunting to me, because the way that it kind of is set up, and I apologize for those that do know what I'm talking about, but let me just recap for those that don't. You're supposed to start the challenge July or whenever you start it, but it can only go for 12 months. So whether you start it a month later than the original start date of the challenge, or you start it even 2 months from then. I know like several people on the book community have mentioned that they are not starting until January 2026 and then going till December 2026. But the whole thing with this challenge is to make sure that you're not exceeding over 12 months. So I personally just started it right away as soon as I heard about it. So I technically only have until end of June to fulfill all of my prompts. And right now, with every single prompt that's available and the requirements for each of those prompts, I'm looking at 123 books. So right now, as of September 26th, I have read over 42 of those 123 books. So, I mean, I'd say I'm doing pretty good, but 80 books in 9 months, like, let's just break that down. Like, if I'm on average, like, listening to audiobooks, I could totally do it. I'm not going to be worried about it. But I like to mix in physical reading as well. So in some of these books, I can't get on Audible. I can't get on the Libby app. I can't get on Everand. I can't get in audiobook form is what I'm trying to say. So, and my whole goal is to eliminate as much of my physical TBR as possible too. So like it was even more challenging trying to make sure that I had the book on my shelf. So I'm not spending extra money to getting a book just to do this challenge. Or if I can't purchase it, I would just get it through the library. But then I have to kind of play the waiting game on the holds and if it's available, etc. So I was able to find a good bulk of these books on my shelf, which is great, just because I did it that on purpose. So, I mean, I think it's going to be fine. It's just some of these books are really beefy that I picked out, and I'm not going to go into every single one because I would just lose my breath, and I'm already exhausted looking at this list. I think like altogether, trying to plan out this list has taken me a good solid 2 months to figuring all this out, because at first I was like, oh, I got this down pat, and I have completed some of the prompts, like I mentioned in a prior episode, so go check that out. But I'm happy with, where I'm at, because this is far more reading than I've ever done ever in history of my life. So for it to really boost my interest of, instead of like mindlessly scrolling, I'm reading or I'm listening to an audiobook and multitasking, I've really been able to stay productive, and it's really opened my eyes to that being potentially possible. So I could see the benefit of this challenge, but when it comes to blacking out the card, it is rather challenging if you're trying to do it one prompt at a time. So yeah, if you are considering doing the HRCYED 2.0 challenge, which you still technically can, there is no timeline. I know some people are doing it as a hybrid between HRCYED 1.0's bingo board versus HRCYED 2.0's bingo board. Like there's no strict rules on what you can and can't do. It's just you have to do it within a 12-month period. That's the only strict rule about it. But I mean, I'm having a good time with it. I'm definitely picking up books that I personally would have never had on my TBR or picked up like earlier had it not been for this challenge. So yeah. So yeah, if you're a crazy planner like I am, just go in knowing that it's going to take you probably some time to figure it out. The most challenging prompt for me to plan was the Queer Alphabet Round 2.0, because I'm going to be honest, like I do read LGBTQ plus books, but trying to identify like gender fluid or asexual and like the other branches beyond like lesbian, gay, polyamor, and bisexual, I hadn't really like ventured into that territory of LGBTQ plus. So I mean, I am really, really excited with the books that I did pick out for that, but that was a rather challenging prompt for me to plan out. And now it's going to be even more challenging to make sure that I can get these books, because this day and age we have book banning going on, and I don't know how easy it's going to be. So it's going to be interesting. The other prompt that was rather challenging to plan, I have to say, was all the adaptations. So like trying to figure out what is considered a web series versus, a TV show versus what animation versus a movie versus a modern retelling. I probably didn't do it correctly. But I'm just going to roll with it because like technically I'm reading. So, if I get excluded from, the results or the end running, because I didn't do it right, it's not going to be a big deal. But yeah, so that was the other prompt that was rather challenging, because I typically don't really pay attention to TV series and web series. I know my daughter's usually on like Netflix and things like that, but I personally am not. My nose is always knee deep in a book. So, so yeah. So yeah, I just wanted to update on that. As far as my reading goals go for this month, I can't believe we're almost into October. It's looking really good. I may be able to get a jump start on my 2026 TBR, which the bulk of it is literally HRCYED 2.0 reading, but there are additionals, which is fantastic because obviously I need things to read after HRCYED 2.0 is done. So yeah. So the plan is to prioritize the reads for HRCYED, while mixing in the books that I really, really want to finish for 2026. At least that's the game plan. I'm considering doing a fun little readathon, for the holidays. So stay tuned for that. And yeah, I mean, I also want to note too that this HRCYED 2.0 challenge has really helped me like close the gap on a lot of the series that I had on my shelves. Oh my gosh, I had so many fantasy series, and I'm really glad that there was that prompt with the series Steerway, because you have to read a standalone, a duology, then a trilogy, and then a 4+ series book series. So that really helped me wipe out quite a few series, because I kind of like matched it up with, okay, is this series concluded? Is this duology good? I had it on my shelf, so let's just dig into it. And they've all been excellent choices. I've only ran into a handful of books so far that have been on my shelf that I absolutely just, I wanted to burn the book. So, and I didn't want to torture myself, but, anything that I have DNF'd or stopped reading altogether, I have gotten rid of. I know some booktubers and podcasters, they like to do this read it or unhaul it situation. I personally am not going to jump on that bandwagon. But anything that I felt like there's no way I'm picking this up, I'm just unhauling it. And I'm donating it to like the free little libraries in the area. We have like a couple more new free little libraries in the area, and I like to give back to the community when it comes to that. So I figured someone else will probably like it more than I did. So but yeah, so far so good. So I know this is probably going to be a rather quick bonus episode, but I wanted to kind of give you guys like an update, kind of like a final update of what HRCYED 2.0 has been putting me through. So the next time that I update on HRCYED 2.0, I'm definitely, it's definitely going to be closer to June when we're wrapping things up. Because like now that I've gotten everything planned, know the total count. I have my list together of what I need to read to fulfill all the prompts. And then whatever extra I do read, I'm just putting that into my 2026 list. And there's going to be no real order to things. It's just, I'm going to grab it and read through it and hopefully conquer through it. So, but I hope you guys are having a great day. I hope you have a great weekend. I am working on episode 15 at this point. So stay tuned for that. I'm looking forward to that one. I'm looking at all the science fiction, and very excited about the anticipated releases in science fiction coming up. So I'll be talking a little bit on that, and probably diving into a lot of like the science fiction and fantasy genre, because that's just been my new jam as well, along with lit RPG. So but yeah, hopefully you are doing well. If you guys are also participating in HRCYED 2.0, I would love to know how you guys are doing with that and how the planning is going, because if you're anything like me, the planning never ends until that list is done. So but yeah, stay safe, stay healthy, and until next time, I'll catch you guys later. Bye.